as an album, 2014 wasn't very collaborative. And as an album, it wasn't really an album either. It was four and a half EPs, and the best from those EPs ended up on the album. Turning the whole thing into an album was a shameless marketing exercise to kind of let people know in New Zealand that I've been releasing work while I was overseas. The great part about, I guess, alternate picking, flat picking is that you can get a really good rhythm going just on your own with the guitar, and it's quite hypnotic. I guess that's one of the more hypnotic tracks. Especially kind of because it repeats. It repeats twice, but it's only like bloody 156 seconds long or something. 156, 1 minute 56 long. But yeah, that's the style. And you could obviously point to a lot of older musicians who are further back in terms of inspiration that aren't David Rawlings, because he's very modern, the last like decade, 2 decades. But that's who I took inspiration from. Dick White, who's the bassist, he was the guitarist and now he's the bassist. I don't know what to say about him. He's got a beautiful voice, he writes amazing songs, and he always, like, maybe if you saw the gig at the Gardens, whenever I say stupid things on stage, he keeps me in check. Rupert Hunter. I grew up with Rupert. We've been playing in bands since I was 16, so probably like 8 years now. He's just filling in actually. And then Christian Williams is another person who, I mean, I slept on his couch in Melbourne. I've played in a couple of things with him, and Dick White called the band that plays with me the shitty country band that I always needed. But then we came to the conclusion that a shitty country band always actually has a really, really good drummer. And so Christian is that really, really good drummer. I'd like to do a specific shout out, even though she's not technically in the band. I played with her for years and she played at the Gardens, is Nina Dekes-Rehana, who's got the best voice ever, and I hope she takes some time out of her busy acting thespian schedule to sing more songs with us, and hopefully write some too. It wasn't even a way of thinking about art, it was a way of approaching life that she gave to me, which is hard to explain. She was an English teacher, and she wrote a novel in the 80s called A Surfeit of Sunsets, which I read in 2013, and I'm biased, but it's like one of my favourite books ever. And it was going to get published, the library had ordered it, they had the ISBN number and everything, they had a barcode, like that's how far along it was. And then her editor was like, change the title, change the name of this character, cut this chapter out. Dulcie freaks out, axes the whole thing, like walks away. Like, doesn't have the confidence to write again for the rest of her life. So what I did was, behind her back, like secretly, I scanned every page of the typewritten manuscript and I put it through an optical character recognition program, which turned it into text. And then since it was like old and like stained, I had to correct like maybe 50 mistakes per page. And that's like 150 pages, and then finally got it all formatted by my good friend Murdoch Stevens at Lawrence and Gibson Publishing. And then for Christmas, which was maybe less than a month before she died, I gave her like a crappy sort of DIY homemade cover with the book that was formatted like a real book with page numbers and everything inside. As a like, this is going to happen, you're finally going to get in the library under C, which is her surname, Castry. And for me, I was just so stoked that she'd lived that long that I could give it to her. Because imagine bloody like plugging away at this thing in secret and then having her die. Like, I gave it to her and she saw it and she knew it. The family was involved, they proofread it, they gave all these ideas. We're looking to publish that this year, and it's like a challenging book. It's not happy at all, ever, pretty much in the whole thing. It's the lonely, angry book, and it's written in kind of an unconventional way. Like, I haven't read a million novels, but I read. I mean, I know that it's not like your typical book.